This video will step you through how to enrol and purchase an AMEB Queensland examination. Firstly, you will need to go to AMEB Queensland's website at www.ameb.qld.edu.au. Then, navigate to the first square located in the middle of the homepage titled Enrol and Registration and Login. You will then be redirected to AMEB Queensland's shop. If you have not yet registered as an AMEB Queensland enroller, you will need to do so first. To log in, click the Login button located at the top right of the homepage and enter in your email and password. Once you have entered in your details, you will be navigated to the AMEB Queensland shop homepage. To buy an examination, click Examinations located in the menu options on the left. Under Browse Exams, you can select your examination type. For this video, I'll be selecting Music. You will then see a complete list of examinations available appear for the option you selected. As I have chosen Music, all of the music examinations available are listed, including comprehensive, repertoire, and 4 leisure examinations. If you are a parent or candidate enrolling in an examination, it is important that you discuss with the candidate's teacher beforehand the correct examination to roll in, as there are different syllabus requirements in different examinations, such as the comprehensive, full leisure, and repertoire examination. If you enrol in the wrong examination, a change of enrolment form and payment of a fee will be required to re-enroll the candidate in the correct examination, so it is important to select the correct one on enrolment. After you choose the relevant examination, a new selection pane will open on the right for you to select which region the candidate is located in to sit their examination. Please note each region has specific examination session dates throughout the year. Before proceeding to enrol, please ensure you view the current year's examination calendar for examination dates in that region. Once you've clicked on the region, you can now select the examination grade the candidate is sitting and choose from the available examination sessions in that region. Here you can see that piano repertoire in the Brisbane metropolitan area, there are 2 sessions available, session 25 and session 26. It is important to note that when enrolling for an examination, you are purchasing an examination within a session's dates. Session 25, for example, runs from the 26th of September to 25th of October. It is the responsibility of the enroller to ensure that a candidate is ready to sit their examination from the first day of the examination session. AMEB Queensland has cut-off dates to enrol in examination sessions, which you can also find in the relevant year's examination calendar. As you can see from the red alert, Session 25 has closed. If you were preparing a candidate to sit an examination in a session that has closed, such as Session 25, you can still enrol and purchase the examination. However, please note that late fees will be applied to their transaction. Closing dates for practical examinations are set approximately 2 months prior to the commencement of a particular session. If the candidate or their parents do not wish to pay a late fee, they can look to enrol in the next available session. Considering this, we'll choose to enrol in Session 26, which you can see is still open for enrolments. Once you have selected the grade in the chosen session, a new page will appear which lists the nominated enroller's details showing the enroller ID and the name. As John Smith, our enroller today, is a teacher and is registered as an enroller in the AMEB shop, his details are automatically shown. And you can now press Save. The following page is the candidate's online enrolment form where you will be required to complete details. Firstly, make sure that the selected examination is correct and matches the examination the candidate is preparing for. In this case, a piano repertoire Grade 1 examination in Session 26. As we have already identified the enroller in the previous step, this field will already be filled. Next, you will need to enter in the candidate ID. Enter in the number and select the magnifying glass. If the candidate does not have a candidate ID, select the second option to enter in the candidate details for the selected examination and fill in the information required. You will then need to select the preferred test location. As we previously selected Brisbane Metropolitan, this will be the only option to select. You will then reach the Special Requirements section. As you hover your cursor over each section, you'll notice a text box appear. Please read each carefully as this is an important part of enrolment. In the first box, you'll see dates to avoid. As mentioned earlier, when enrolling a candidate in an examination, you are enrolling them in a session, not a particular date. AMEB Queensland does not schedule or accept preferred dates for an examination. Rather, the enroller must provide dates to avoid, as examinations are only scheduled around these. Please consider event dates such as religious observances, sporting fixtures, school exams, school camps, curriculum days, special events, or exceptional situations. These must be provided on this form, as after enrolment, transfer fees will apply to all requests to change examination dates and times. As you will see on the text box here, whilst every effort is made to accommodate requests for dates to avoid, it may not be possible to meet them all. The next part is individual needs. AMEB Queensland provides reasonable adjustments tailored to meet a candidate's individual needs whilst being assessed against the same examining standards as set out in the Manual of Syllabuses. You must advise AMEB Queensland of a candidate's individual needs in this part of enrolment, or as soon as possible if a condition becomes apparent. Current medical documentation of the candidate's disability or medical condition must be provided to AMEB Queensland and must have been issued within the same calendar year as the candidate's examination. As you will see in the text box, please email the supporting documentation to inquiries.ameb@qed.qld.gov.au. The final part of enrolment is for special requests. This is where an enroller is to notify AMEB Queensland of things like if they wish to group candidates together on an examination day, or if there is any examiner conflict of interest, for example family members, friends, or if an examiner is or was a candidate's teacher within the last 2 years. Please note again, any requests for preferred dates for an examination will not be accepted. Once you have completed these details, make sure you check all your details are correct and click Add to Cart. You will then see the following success message. This is to notify you your examination has been added to the shopping cart. If you're enrolling in multiple examinations, navigate back to the side menu and select Examinations and repeat the above steps. If you are not purchasing any more examinations, you can either select to view your shopping cart here or navigate to the top right of the page and select Checkout. On this page, please check that all details are correct, especially that the enrolled examination is correct. In this case, Piano Repertoire, Grade 1, Brisbane Metropolitan, Session 26. Also check that the candidate's number and name is correct. Next, you will be required to select the terms and conditions. These terms and conditions ensure that enrolments are accepted by AMEB Queensland on the understanding that teachers, parents and candidates have read and agreed to policies and procedures in the current year's enroller handbook, accepted that assessments are made in accordance with the syllabus requirements in the prescribed Manual of Syllabuses, acknowledge that examinations will not be scheduled without payment, acknowledge that it is the responsibility for the enroller to correctly prepare for the examination and to check that all enrolment details are true and correct, noting that fees will apply should the enrolment require amendment. You will then need to acknowledge that the enrolment purchase may appear on your bank statement as either Queensland Government 2 or QLD Gov 2. Once you have read and accepted the terms and conditions, click Go to Payment Gateway. A prompt will appear notifying you that you are about to be redirected to the Smart Services Payment Gateway. Select OK. You've now been directed to the Queensland Government's Smart Services Gateway. Again, please check that all details pertaining to the purchase are correct. Once you have done this, click Checkout. You will then be required to enter in your billing details. Please note, fields with a red asterisk are required to be completed and cannot be left blank. Once you have completed the details, click Continue. This next page is for you to confirm the details you just entered are correct. If your details are correct, proceed by selecting Pay by Credit Card. Next, enter in your credit card details through the BPoint Payment Gateway. Once you have entered in the details, you will receive a confirmation message. You can then navigate back to the AMEB Queensland shop and access My Records. Your tax invoice and confirmation of enrolment can be found here following your purchase. Once the session that you enrolled in closes, the scheduling process of examinations will take place. Scheduling examinations can take up to 5 weeks to finalise, and AMEB Queensland endeavours to give candidates at least 3 weeks' notice of the date, time, and location of their examination. Once this information is released, enrollers will be notified by email, directing them to My Records, where they can view the information. This concludes the process of how to enrol in an AMEB Queensland examination. For any questions or queries, please don't hesitate to contact our helpful staff by emailing inquiries.ameb@qed.qld.gov.au or by calling 07 36 34 09 33.